Hello, world, and welcome to the next episode of South of Hollywood. Today, I have a very special guest, one of my homegirls from Milwaukee, Paige. Annette, is that how you say it?
Yeah,
Paige. Oh my gosh. Well, that's like your middle name. I always go by your last name, but
that's the real fam that knows that one.
yeah, exactly. But I ain't gonna put it out there. But hey, tell us who you are, where you are, and what you all about.
Hi guys, my name is Paige Annette. I'm originally from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Yes, I know it's not many of us. And we both are here in LA. I'm an actress, dancer, model, the artist life.
Yes, I'm so excited. I feel like this is a great opportunity for us to catch up and,
Yes. I really
check
can't believe I
in.
just recently found out that you live here. Like, I just kind of can't believe that. I was like, wait,
I'm
she
low
lives
key.
here?
Yeah. Like we were saying, people in LA, I was on the grind. I'm low key. I'm not trying to
Yes.
be out there.
Yes.
We all need friends because it's a pandemic. So I'm like, well, I need to connect with people.
Even that, because this is a whole new life that we really are still adjusting to. And I'm still
Mhm.
don't think anything is done, to be
Yes,
honest.
I know.
I think that
Exactly.
we're gonna be hitting some other stuff by the end of this year.
It's crazy. It's crazy. You
It's
know what?
crazy.
I wanted to go out last night. My friend invited me to this live taping, and I was like so ready to go, but I would have had to like left the house at like 5:30, and I was just like, you know what?
I'm
It's
gonna
over
stay
for me.
home. Yep. Yep. Listen, my boyfriend got me out last night, and I thanked him at the end of the night. I was just like, "Thank you, honey. Thank you," because I
Yes.
really would have been just fine inside. But it was probably a good thing that we went out and had some fun.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Got to see the world. Yes.
facts, all the things.
So why don't we get into our first segment, coming attractions, and let us know, what does a up and coming actress, celebrity, television star watch?
Oh my goodness. So I genuinely don't watch all the things that my friends watch. I definitely feel like I'm a different breed. Definitely a little bit old school.
Mhm.
Um, Main things that I watch, which I can't wait to start back up. I'm a huge lover of Law and Order SVU. Like
Mhm.
I just love it. Like it
Yeah.
never gets old, it never gets boring. No episode is bad. It's also
uh,
relating to real life, which I love.
uh,
That's what I love the writers about because
yes.
they genuinely, I'm like, I don't even know how they do it, but they're so good at it.
And they
And
spoiled
they're
us with those good justice
they
inclusion.
do. It's
Yes.
so juicy. Like I instantly look forward to it every week. And then now they have the new spinoff with it because it's Stabler's show,
Oh
the
yeah, I
Law and
saw that.
Order Organized Crime, and it's so good.
Is
It's
it? I
so
saw
good.
that on Peacock. I was like, maybe I should check this out.
It's so good. I love it. So these are like, I mean, this is like my go to 1000% all the time. I was watching The Resident. That's another good show, and it's a medical show. The
Mm.
Good Doctor, Our Kind of People, which I'm so sad that it did not get signed for a second
Mm.
season. Like I was
Mm.
genuinely heartbroken because it was it was good. Like the
Mhm.
writing was good, and I mean, Papa Pope was in it.
Mm. Mhm.
You had a great cast, and it left you on a cliffhanger. It left you like at
Mhm.
the edge of the bed, like waiting for, oh my God, what's gonna happen? Wait, who did that to her? You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
then of course Deadline released that it's not signed for a second season. And I was like,
Mm.
what? I was
Yes.
so sad. And I kind of felt like it was the black version of Revenge. I don't know if you ever saw
No.
Revenge, but Revenge was on for some seasons, and it was Emily Van Camp, I think her name was.
Mhm.
She was the star of it. And she's also in The Resident, but she did a great job with this show, and she carried it for seasons. And I feel
Mm,
like Our Kind of People was the black version of it.
yeah,
Different history, families,
yeah.
secrets going down the line, of that revenge of your parents' death or something. I think hers was her father's, and then Our Kind of People was related to her mom's.
Oh, okay, cool. No, I never saw that. I
Yeah.
actually heard a lot of people did like it too. I
It's
guess it just didn't have enough
good.
viewers.
I mean, this is what I mean when I say I'm like, I don't really watch normal
Mhm,
things, but
mhm,
what bothers me is that the things that really should get the attention, that have so much color in it, so much work and layers from the artistry side of it, don't
mhm.
seem to get the attention it needs, versus if we're talking about something stereotypical of, I don't know, a black woman playing a stripper, or
Mhm.
some ghetto gangster or something. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
hate to put it that way, but like,
Mhm,
that
mhm.
sucks. That
Yes.
sucks. And it's a huge part of our industry,
Mhm.
which I feel like, um, is a personal challenge for me too, when it comes to roles and opportunities, and just this
Mhm.
this journey of being an actress and what we go through.
Yes. I
You
mean, it's
know.
funny you should mention that, because one of the things I've been watching, is All the Queen's Men. I don't know if you've seen that on BET Plus. And first of all, give it up to Eva because she is carrying the show for sure.
Okay.
He's definitely coming through with as much power and energy as you could as an actress with that bad of a situation because the storyline is just chaos. I don't even know what's
Is
happening
it?
or why it's happening. Things are just happening randomly. I've never heard so many throwaway lines in my life. Like, who wastes time writing these lines? Like, or are they even writing lines? Because sometimes it sounds like
Or
improv.
is it improv? Right, 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 right.
Yeah, so it's just like horrible. And it's like, if it's like, I know it's Tyler Perry produced. I mean, I think there are actual writers and I think there's a different director, but something about it is still given very Tyler Perry. And it's just like, the what's considered like, I don't even know. I don't even know. So
Mhm.
people who've watched the show all
Mhm.
agree, like, especially people who like make films or TV, they're just like, these characters are just so, actually the characters are not bad, but like I said, the plot points, the actual scenes, the actual like motivating dialogue that like that takes us to something, it's all missing.
Yeah.
And it's giving very like daytime drama, like soap opera, like we're just trying to get to 12 episodes. It's just like,
Oh,
so it's frustrating to watch because you're just like, what is
what's
happening?
happening?
Why
Right.
is this happening?
Jinx.
People are doing random things and you're just like, why is this happening? Or things are kind of redundant happening again. So but I love it. It's addictive because Eva is playing this like dead ass boss, and her scenes and her writing is the most creative on the show. So I feel
Most
like,
layered.
yeah, I mean, at least I feel like she's pretty complex. And but she a gangster, so at the same time she cold-blooded. And I like that because we don't see enough black women get to play that role either. I don't
Mhm.
know, think about like Ozarks. So,
Yep.
like the wife became this very like cold, methodical, boss. And
Yep.
a lot of we get to see that. I mean, Weeds, you can name it countless shows where white women got to at least be the El Chapo character. So I like
Right.
it when, yeah, so I like it when black women can also be that.
Yeah, for sure. And we do need more of it. It's it's our time, not only
Mhm.
as people of color, but as women. And this is also the time where like empowerment and unity is most important, because that's really when you're going to see things blossom.
Mhm.
Um, Everyone's like, oh, this is black people are getting all the roles and stuff like that. Yeah, but it's the quality of the role, it's the type of role. That's the difference. You don't just want anything, you
Mhm.
know. Because what you do, what you put out there is still an extension of you. It's still connected to you. It's whatever you created, but like, you know, some of these roles really do stick with you forever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, is that what you want to be known for?
And you never know
Or
which
do
one it's
you
gonna
want to?
be. Yeah.
Right. And
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the challenges I think of the game, um, as you're climbing the charts, to be able to not only find your brand, but to know what you specifically will say yay and nay to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Uh-huh. Okay, well, I mean, I guess that brings us to our next segment as well. Tea time. So let's talk about some of your, points of view of being in the industry. What do you think are some other challenges? I mean, that's a great one.
Um, One thing I will say, as not only an actress, but as a dancer, because that's how I started, since we were kids, always dancing. But the older I got, the more experience I got, especially when I left. So I graduated in Philly and I finished out my last season with the Eagles. And then I moved to Vegas with a contract already signed. So as I started to get very familiar with the whole industry, especially in Vegas, and at that time, I was like one of maybe three Black beautiful dancers in Vegas. So I was known pretty fast, very, very fast. But at the flip side of that, I was also known, oh, okay, well, Paige will not do a topless show. So don't ask her. You know what I mean? It was kind of like after the third or fourth contract I declined because it was topless, that started to go around and that became my brand. That became part of my name. Oh, Paige Annette. Oh yeah, she's an awesome dancer. But if it's topless, don't expect her to say yes. Like no matter how much money you throw at her,
Mm-hmm.
it's not going to budge.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was a decision I definitely was faced with almost immediately when I moved to Vegas. And that was something I did have to think about and make a decision on. And I always told myself, um, I will not say yes to a topless contract in the States, until or if I am comfortable with my grandfather being in the audience.
Mm-hmm.
And I never got there.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I specify in the States because I actually would take a topless contract out of the States, like out of the country, in Europe somewhere. And I say that because there's a big cultural difference.
Mm-hmm.
Very big cultural difference. If
Yeah.
I go to a topless pool or beach here, I'm going to be looked at so differently, not only as a woman, but
Mm-hmm.
just as a sex symbol and all these things,
Mm-hmm.
and even less than. If
Mm-hmm.
I go to a topless pool or beach in Europe,
Mm-hmm.
you are looked at as beauty,
Mm-hmm.
art,
Mm-hmm.
all of the things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's different. And I
Mm-hmm.
hate to say that, but it's the truth.
That is true.
Sad
Sexism.
realities, you know? Sad
Sexism is real.
realities.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, as I crossed over into acting, I kept those values with me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also that challenge of trying to find reps that agree with your values, that respect them, and
Mm-hmm.
don't just submit you for things. And then you're like having an argument or a conversation, like, no, I'm not comfortable with this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's also a process too, a
Mm-hmm.
huge process. And every actor goes through that. And when you're going through it, you're like, "Ugh, why me?" Or "What's wrong with me?" And you're crying and going through all of these like emotions and like, maybe I should just stop. Like, is this really the only way I can make it? If I accept a topless role, if I go nude, if I this sucks, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Mm-hmm.
Um and my advice to anybody who is in this industry and who does face these challenges is just stay strong in what you believe, please, please, because I'm very aware of what you won't do, someone else will.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so much value in you standing your ground to your morals, because we need more of that, especially as women. Because we're always taken advantage of. We always get the shorter end of the stick. We're always like, why do we have to compromise? How many shows and things do you see full frontal nudity for men? Why do I have to? Is that the only way for me to get a series regular opportunity for me to show my breasts? That's not fair. For me to have a sex scene, that's not fair. For me to become a lesbian on, that's not fair.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
those are not the same statistics when it comes to men, no matter what color you are. And that's like the God honest truth.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I am very grateful for the journey. I probably would not have said that before.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's hard. My
Mm-hmm.
gosh, it is so hard. But I will say, on this side, at this place in my life, I've never been happier with the reps that I have. They all respect and understand where I'm from, my morals, my values, what I believe in, what I don't believe in. Um, I've never felt safer with this manager. I do feel like I have my forever manager, because he is very protective, and he's very smart, and he's very good at what he does. And so when these opportunities come up, we really do sit and talk about it,
Mm-hmm.
and how far I'm willing to go when it comes to those things. You know, there are even opportunities that come to us where we're just like, okay, I'll do this, but since they're specifying what I'm comfortable with showing, well, then we'll let them know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hi, my name is Paige Jeanette. I am not comfortable with full frontal nudity. I
Mm-hmm.
am not comfortable with showing my nipples, but I am comfortable with implied nudity, or you showing the arch of the top of my butt. Or
Mm-hmm.
we were very, very specific. So we do things like that. And that gives me comfort in that. And
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, with every step I take, what is meant for you has your name on it. No matter how hard you work, no matter how much you give in, if it's for you, if God has your name on it, there's no one else that can take your name off of it. And I am a firm believer in that. So even if it's a dream role that you are just head over heels for and will bend over backwards for, if it's not for you, then that just means that God has something else different, and most likely it's bigger for you. So
Mm-hmm.
don't give in. Don't give in. Hollywood is expecting so many people to give in, and they do it all the time.
Man, that's a real lesson for sure.
Yeah.
I would say, like, to that point, I think, or another truth, or is really that sometimes you have to make your own projects too, and create those roles and write those scripts, to actually not always, but to your point, about having your integrity and knowing your value, being able to stick to your morals. And I think that's a good thing in
Mm-hmm.
some cases, because it gives us, when people are kind of forced, let's say, into with their back against the wall, they become creative. My mother used to say, ingenuity is the mother of necessity, or necessity, something like that. When you need something, you find a way, basically. And I think
Yes.
being an artist is something that is a need to express. So if I'm not getting roles, I feel like what I've seen from so many artists is that that's when they push themselves to actually create something, and that can sometimes change the tide of even the history of art, because someone decided they needed to create this story that they weren't getting an opportunity, to play that role, or to play those different parts. So yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, I'm not an actress, so I definitely have I mean I've been in films, but I wouldn't say that I'm an actress. So I definitely understand that, like, there's a lot of pressure to like pick roles and, decide what you want to have imprinted literally forever,
Yeah.
sometimes on film. So, yeah, it's really important to know what kind of stories you want to tell and be a part of. Yeah.
Yeah. And
But
that's
yeah.
been a process too. Like I'm no one is the same person that they were 5, 6, 7 years ago. Um, and you learn. If you're paying attention, you learn. You learn what you want. You learn all the specificities of, your desires and needs.
Wow, that's so interesting. Well, why don't we talk a little bit more about you? So you gave us a little bit of background, and talking about, let's just talk about, how you got to LA and what it's been like since you've been here. How did you decide to come? When did you come here?
Um, oh wow. I moved here in 2015, and it's very, very interesting because what moved me here was the worst break of my life. And I can't necessarily say, like, explain my story without that, because I truly think that the worst pain brought me to my greatest destiny.
Mm, mhm,
And I say that to say, because I was in Vegas and I had already reached my cap. I was there for years. I was signing contracts. I never not I was never out of work, you know. And I lived Vegas used to be amazing. It's different now. Everything is
mhm,
different now because of this pandemic and the
mhm,
world, and you know, our
mhm,
children are definitely going to learn about this in history books for sure.
mhm,
But I had reached a point in my career in Vegas where I had done everything. So I was just like, what's next? What do I want to do this forever? And as a dancer too, I was just like, I'm tired. I'm
yeah.
tired. Your body changes. And then because I've done it all my life, whether you're in point shoes or in heels, this is still wear and tear on your body. Whether you're doing it 4, 5, 6, 7 days a week, that all adds up. What really, really sparked my film love for it was I got direct booked with Think Like a Man 2. And I literally just got a call from someone who knew me and had worked with me once. And she was like, hey, would you be interested in being a burlesque dancer for Think Like a Man 2? We're going to learn one piece, and it's in a whole, scene in it. And actually, if you go back, you can see me, it was great. It was one of the best experiences of my life. I had so much fun. We rehearsed twice, and then we had filming day. And um, it was great. It was so much fun. And we had like a really, really early call time, like 4:30, 5 a.m. or something. So it was still nighttime. And I remember because they escorted me to my own trailer.
Mhm.
And I was like, this is what I want to do. But I want to do it as an actress, not a dancer. And so after my experience with that, that's when I started to like really, really look. But I kind of like took baby steps. And then when I experienced, like I said, the worst break of my life, it pushed me to jump, to leap,
Mhm.
and I moved to LA. I moved to LA, and I want to say it was like March or April of 2015. And it was like, it was new. I had to start completely fresh because one, I really, I was still in that healing phase. trying to recover emotionally, mentally, physically. And then I didn't want anyone to really know I was here yet. So, and we all know the dance community, the artist community, everything's really small. Everybody knows everybody. So I really like kind of stayed incognito for, I want to say, the first 2 years that I was here, and just kind of worked on me. Um, by that time, I had established extra work, different production companies out here, and then started to explore um, acting reps, just that whole process, because it is slightly different from dancing. Dancing, you can be a dancer and go to a dance audition and kill it, and then your name just starts to float around. That doesn't work that way with acting. You have to have certain reps. You can't just know about certain auditions. It's
Yeah.
different opportunities, different process that way. Um, again, every actor also goes through different reps. That's a whole nother journey too. Um, one thing that I will say is when I got here, I was like, well, I'm just going to focus on acting. I'm not going to put dancing on my resume and things like that. And I started to meet other celebrities that took the time to sit and talk with me. One of them was AJ Johnson. She was on, House Party. She's such a sweetheart. And one of the things her and Tish Campbell were like, no, you're a dancer, do it all.
Mm-hmm.
Put everything on your resume. Embrace every single talent because it's what's going to set you apart from them.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
they were right. So I kept my dance agent out here. I now have LA reps for theatrical and commercial. And then I still have my manager out here as well. And then I have Atlanta reps too. So embrace it all. If you're a singer, add that singing to the resume. If you're a dancer, add that dancer to the resume. Even if you hand model, whatever it is, add it all to the resume because it's genuinely going to set you apart from everyone else. It's You could be in an agency and they could have a couple women that look like you. They could have more than a couple women that look like you. But what sets you apart from them? Is it your training? Is it your, extra activities, extra talents? They don't dance, they don't have aerial experience, they don't have different dialects, they don't, you know what I mean? Like it's all different. They don't have sun experience or whatever it is. You don't have something that they don't have and vice versa, but that's what sets you apart from them. So
Yeah.
embrace all your talents, all of them. Don't hide them because they're all gifts.
That's so awesome. Yeah, I always imagine about getting agents and I'm like, wow, that seems like such a daunting process, to be able to, I mean, how do you even begin to do something like that?
It's it's crazy. Every agent too has like a different submission policy. Some of them you can't
Yeah.
send your stuff into. Some of them it has to only be through referrals.
Yeah.
So they'll, your stuff will just be ignored.
Mhm.
And then even with the ones you can have access to send your stuff to, ideally if you don't hear from someone, then it's like they weren't interested. It's I read something that said no one is rejected more than an artist.
Yeah. Mhm.
And I
Part of the
felt
job.
that.
Yeah.
I felt that so much because I was like, yeah, on a daily basis, it's almost like we get used to that rejection because it is part of the whole process. No one knows how many auditions we go through just to get a yes. No, like you have no idea. You have no clue. And then the people who don't really know the history of some of the artists that we look up to, they went through the same thing. You know, Viola Davis. No one knew her before when she was struggling. No one knew her. She's nonstop working even before she was Viola Davis.
Mhm.
but she did it in theater too. And
Mhm.
she set her foundation and she made all of those triumphs on everything, you know, and with each booking, she got better and better and better and better, you know. Same with Meryl Streep. No one knew. I think it was in the beginning of her career where she was told that she was not pretty enough.
Mhm. Yeah.
And she's Meryl Streep. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
it amazes me. Julia Roberts, no one wanted to give her a chance because she was so beautiful and tall. People kept looking at her as a model, and they're like, "You should just model. You know, you go
Mhm.
to New York and model." And she was like, "But I don't want to be a model. I want to be
Right.
an actress." And what
So,
gave her first big break was her brother getting her a role next to her or next to him in a film
mm.
that
Oh, wow.
that helped open the doors, you know. So it's just like everyone has a process. I
Yeah.
think even with Halle Berry, God, who was it? They were like, was it Jungle Fever or something where she played a junkie and they were like, we were scared to give her the part because she's too pretty and we didn't see it happening.
Mhm.
But it's just that's a whole nother story because it's just like I'm like people don't realize they think just because we're beautiful women we get the world handed to us. We have a whole nother box of struggles as
Mhm.
beautiful pretty women that people don't know about,
Mhm.
but it's the stereotype, you know.
Mhm. So, like, once you were able to find agents or agents found you, what was it like starting to get work? I mean, how long did it take until you felt like you were working?
um Not gonna lie, I feel like it's up till now.
Mhm.
um in the beginning, like when I first started to book, um I was like, I didn't, I was so green in the acting industry too. I didn't realize the training process.
Yeah, I was
And
wondering
I
if you took
honestly,
classes too. Yeah.
yeah, I didn't find my ultimate trainer, my ultimate coach, and I will never leave her. She's one of a kind.
Mhm.
I have been with her now. I feel like I'm going on either my third or fourth year with her.
Mhm.
That's it took me forever to find her, and I found her through a referral with someone who um knew of her, and he was like, she's the best in the industry. Trust me, your life will be different after 6 to 8 months of training with her. You'll see everything differently. And he was right.
Mhm.
He was
Mhm.
right. I don't know how she does it, but no one teaches what she teaches. And it's not even a technique, it's literally you embodying who you need to be. You know, every story is an I am. I am Tabitha. I am Frankie. I am Olivia. And my story behind that, and every story has layers, whether it's bad writing or not.
Mhm.
You are the creator of your world. And that's what makes it so alive. That's what makes it so real. Um, it's so very interesting because I studied with some other schools previous to finding her, and it didn't really tap into me the way that she did. It really didn't, not even close. Every actor is different. Everyone's body is accepting of things differently. But mine truly did not pop until she entered my life.
Yeah, so what
So,
was it like when you first started, getting auditions at least, or like you said, you just now feeling like you're getting to work regularly, but
yeah. Um, Gosh, it's I do feel like it's night and day.
mhm,
But I do feel like every person should go through, you're gonna go through that green phase. You know, in that green phase, when I got auditions, and of course before it was more popular to be at auditions in person.
mhm,
So, LA, you gotta deal with parking, you gotta deal with traffic, and then you're in this room
mhm,
where there's a ton of people that either look like you or don't look like you, but are there for the same role.
right.
And then the anxiety and the nervous, you know, everything just comes over you, and then they call your name and you're like, okay, okay, how do I do this? You
Mhm.
know, and now I'm totally different because I can't be swayed. If I have to be in an audition room versus a self tape, I know how to handle myself now. I also know how to not be affected by the surroundings of this setup, you know. And I'm thankful for that experience because that's part of our job too. We're always so nervous. We have so many nerves. People don't realize sometimes you get one shot. You get one shot. You wait in that room forever, and it took you, it's like a lottery to even get the audition, you know. Um, and sometimes you get one shot.
Mhm.
Hi, my name is da 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 da. This is your reader. Action, you know, and that's it. And you don't usually get feedback, whether you get a callback or not, whether you get booked or not. Um, I will say there are definitely actors who love self tapes and some who like in person. I'm a self tape lover. I love them so much.
Mhm.
And I was one even before. The difference is, like there are some actors that do it over and over and over and over again, and then you kind of feel robotic. I have my circle of people who I tape with, and they tape with me, and we're at the most three takes, and we'll choose between those three takes and send it in, you
Mhm.
know, and that goes with work, that goes with studying and making sure you're able to absorb, you know, whether it's a 5 page or 20 page audition
Mhm.
and go through it. And I'm grateful, like I said, for the journey because there's no way I would have been able to do that 4 or 5 years ago before I
Yeah.
met this coach.
Yeah. So tell us about what you're working on now and what your day to day is like. What's it like now working in, in a regular situation?
Wow. I'm grateful for my setup. I'm grateful for my life because it really took a long time to get here. Sometimes I'm in shock, and
You
I'm
finally have your
anxious for
trailer
so
that
much
they
more.
walk you to the trailer.
Right,
Right?
right. I'm just like, oh my gosh. I'm getting closer and closer to my ultimate dreams, my ultimate roles, that I can't wait to tell. Um, on a daily basis right now, I study every day. I usually it just depends on how I feel because I have two dialects that I have now. One is my British dialect, and it's more like the RP, the proper, the hierarchy um, language, like Queen, and you know that area. If I get an opportunity where it's more modern, everyday British, that's something I can do, but I do usually check in with my coach to cross the T's and dot the I's just to make sure, like, because it's all about vowels, it's all different. The second dialect I'm working on is a island dialect from the West Indies, and that is challenging, but it's fun to have all the discoveries. And it's challenging because this is still a little bit of British in it, but it's mixed with Irish and Caribbean, and you know, again, different placement of your mouth for that. So I usually spend about an hour on each, depending on how much time I have during the day. I can split that up where I would do like 30 to 45 minutes of listening and then another 30 to 45 minutes of just speaking in that dialect so that my body becomes accustomed to it. Um, and then I have with my coach, I think I'm assigned like 7 different plays, stories. So within each play story, I have conversations that I study every day. And so I pick one. So who am I today? Today I am Frankie. Today I am Cecile, you know, and I work on those. And then every day is different. I could get an opportunity today that's due in 24 to 48 hours, and it could be anywhere from 1 page to 20 pages, and so then that means, oh, I shut everything down and I work on that, because every opportunity takes precedence over anything else, you know. um and I love that, and that's what's so much fun, because then you get to sit down and create and play, because
Mm-hmm.
that's what we do. You want to tell the story as best as possible, as colorful and layered as possible, and you want to be affected by it, because if you're not affected, then whoever's watching you is not going to be affected,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
um it is definitely a life I did not imagine whatsoever, but
Mm-hmm.
again, the more of the journey I experience, the more specific it gets,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm grateful for that a lot. um Most of my stuff has definitely been in film festivals around the world, which I'm so grateful for, because my biggest goal is to not only be a movie star here in the States, but I want to be international,
Mm-hmm.
which is why I think my love for different dialects is coming up. And just like we talked about earlier, like, I don't want to be stereotypes. Wait, I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
So,
There we
can you
go.
hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Oh, is your mic? Let me see. Maybe your mic is out.
Can you hear me now?
Hmm? Can you hear
The
me?
host has unmuted your mic. I can hear you. I
I
can hear
can't hear
you.
you.
You can't hear me? Hmm.
Hmm. Let me see.
Let's see.
Hold on. No worries.
Can you hear me?
No, I still can't hear you.
Still can't hear me, huh?
I can't.
Huh.
Let's see. Hmm.
Let me.
Hold on. Let
Hmm.
me take you out and you can try to log back in. Okay, hold on. Oh, fun. Technical difficulties. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know
It's
why.
like, yes,
The computers do what they want to do. That's why I'm not worried about the
girl, all the time.
That's why I'm not worried about them taking over. I'm like, these computers? Oh no, they'll never take over.
Setting that up. Yeah. Um, Always technology, girl. What would we do without it? Because everything is set up.
I
If
know.
my Wi-Fi goes out, then my lights go out, then
That's
my
what I
TV
mean.
goes
Yeah,
out, then
that's what I'm saying. So it's
it's
like
crazy.
it doesn't work unless we make it work.
It
So
really doesn't. It's
yeah.
crazy. All the new life, but yeah.
Yeah. But well,
Um,
let's talk about the show. We'll take that as a little, I'll edit that in the final version. But let's talk about the show and what show life is like. Well, or what
um,
like I know they film, in seasons, but tell us. I know
yes.
you've been on the show, so tell us.
If you haven't seen Lace, definitely do yourself a favor and support it. Not only because of the Black community that's behind it, but just the story itself. I love that it's not your stereotype, definitely not your stereotypical Black show either. We are, think of like Suits mixed with maybe Scandal or something. That's what it kind of reminds me of, because you have this beautiful, intelligent Black woman who started her own law firm. And of course, there are layers within that. Of course, there are enemies. Of course, there's jealousy and scandal and all the things. And the cast is so, and I'm not saying it because I'm part of it, even if I had just watched it, like I actually gave this casting director props. I said, you casted the mess out of this show because every single person is beautiful and beautifully talented.
Mhm.
And that's what I love about it. The two showrunners, which I am so in love with, both Katrina and Michelle, and I believe today is Michelle's birthday. Um, they didn't, when it was time to cast, they didn't go off of the other politics of what we are unfortunately going against as actors, which is social media. And I am so beyond thankful for that because even though, yes, I have a social media, I am not an influencer. I am not 50 million followers and things like that. But there are sometimes where we actually lose opportunities because we are not in that realm of social media. And that sucks because then that shows you that it's not about the talent. And that genuinely sucks. But nothing, no part of this casting for this show was related to that. And so I love that.
Right.
Um, I am looking forward to a season 2.
Oh, was it renewed for season 2?
We are waiting still for those results, but we are very
Hopeful.
positive and
Yeah.
hopeful about it. It's such a good show. It's really, really good show. And if it is renewed for season 2, I will be back. So I'm
For
very
those,
excited about that.
yeah, for those who haven't seen it, can you just tell us your role and and again, when does it air? Stuff like that.
My name is Safia, and it is already out streaming on AMC All Black.
Mhm.
And I am a beautiful artist, very, very successful, married to a husband.
Mhm.
And if I tell you anymore, I'm going to tell you some
Okay.
secrets. So I don't want to tell you any more secrets. But
But that's what we should look for, the beautiful artist. I'm feeling it.
yes,
That's all we
yes.
know. Yes.
I just love how they created us because we are not the stereotype, and that's as women of color, we want that. Representation matters.
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
really, really matters. And we need more of that than let me show her as a prostitute or a gangster or a drug addict or whatever, you
Right.
know.
Right.
So I'm grateful for those opportunities. I am hoping, I'm not sure what this last film, like what all the how they're going to promote it. It is based on a true story. And I'm hoping I'll be able to share more with that soon.
Oh, that's what I was
They
gonna
are
ask.
wrapping up.
So you have another movie that you're working on now or wrapping up now.
Yeah, so I actually filmed it in May,
Mhm.
and they're finishing like the post process of it. I'm excited for this one not only because I'm a firm believer of stories choose you. They really have your name on it. They find you somehow. I don't know if it's part of manifestation or God, but they find you. And just like how I talked to you about dialects, for me, I genuinely want to tell stories of history,
Mhm.
stories that are true, especially of women that haven't been told, and so that we can shine light on them. Because we as women, again, not only now, but just in history, always get the shorter end of the stick. And we are a huge foundation of strength for
Mhm.
so many avenues of life.
Mhm.
And this last film I did was based on Mary Armstrong,
Mhm.
and she was a slave who was free,
Mhm.
and her journey. And this director mixed dance and acting in it.
Mhm.
And I'll never forget when I was asked to audition,
Mhm.
and she was just instantly just, it was like an instant click.
Mhm.
And so I'm grateful for that experience because even with filming creating that and feeling her spirit in the respect level of the story itself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, our women really, really survived a lot,
Mm-hmm.
survived a lot. And it's just time that we tell all of their stories, no matter, where they're from, West
Mm-hmm.
Indies or America, you know.
Absolutely.
Um, so I'm grateful for where that does go and blossom. And as soon as I get more information, I will be posting that too.
That's
Um,
awesome. But
and
yeah,
now
that's
it's just like a daily thing of auditions and callbacks and waiting for that next opportunity. So the great thing is the past films are definitely still in film festivals around the world, Italy and Europe and Australia. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the setup. I don't know what God is doing, but I'm grateful for the setup.
That's right. That's so awesome. Well, that brings us, to the end of today's episode. But I just wanted to know if you could even share with us where people can follow you, or if you have a website or anything where you do let people, catch up with you.
Yes, thank
Yeah.
you. I have not updated my website, so maybe don't go to my website yet. I haven't had time.
Mhm.
But the best place to reach me is my Instagram, and it's at only one page. Spell out ONE,
Only
only
one.
ONEPAIGE. Um, I'm I'm such a firm believer of helping people,
Mm-hmm.
and because you should always pay it forward. I will never understand how people make it to the top and get so successful that they forget where they're from,
Mm-hmm.
don't help people, don't help open doors, things like that. I'm not as big as I'm going to be one day, but whenever people do reach out to me and ask questions about whether it's headshots or any type of process or advice, I will always do what I can, and I always respond to DMs. So I just wanted to let any of the other fellow artists know that, because there's enough success for us all to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
And I just will never not believe that people should not help each other to at least eliminate some of the crap that we went through.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what's
Yeah.
up. Yes,
Yes.
we always got to reach back. That's how we
We
make it
have
better.
to.
Yeah.
That's how we change and make things better. Hollywood cannot stay like this,
Mm-hmm.
you know? We women gonna take over the world one day.
Mm-hmm. That's
One
what's
day.
up. Well, thank you so much for being here. This is
Thank you,
exactly why we have
EK.
South of Hollywood, to encourage more people out there to just pursue their dreams and lean in no matter what they think.
Thank you. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thanks for reaching out to me too. It's so good to see you.
So good to
We've
see
been last
you.
time I saw you we were kids. So
Literally, yes. No, I see you all the time online. I'm so happy for you. I've been happy for you. I've been reaching out like,
thank you,
you know,
beauty.
I know you've been busy, but it's just so great to talk to you finally. And I always talk to your mom.
Anytime.
So, the love is real.
Always, always.
Yes.
I
So,
love
yeah.
you too, girlie.
Oh, so great. Love you. Thank you all for joining us on South of Hollywood. See you
Thank you guys.